Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, coming to you a little bit both early and late for us, although I guess I should say recording early and late for us, coming to you at the exact same time as normal. Yeah, we are
You know
recording...
nothing. This is all exactly as it is always before.
So we are recording Friday night instead of Sunday morning, so if anything, any earth-shattering gaming news happens on Saturday...
Metroid Prime 4 release date.
Shadow drop. Release date tomorrow.
There was a posting of like a Russian superstore that theoretically leaked the release date as September 18th. I was like, don't you do that to me, Nintendo. Don't you shadow drop that on me.
Do you think they shadow drop Metroid Prime in the same, within 10 days of Hollow Knight Silksong?
Obviously.
Do you think they do it?
Because Nintendo does not fear a small bug. Nintendo embraces the bug. They
would like you to eat the bug, that's for sure. To live in the pod and eat the bug with their contempt for you, yeah. That tracks. But, There was something I saw, a story, it was like a bunch of indie devs have, all pushed their release date now because of the Silksong. The ones that I've seen mentioned most clearly are, ones that are clearly inspired by Silksong. You know, they are indie Metroidvania... hand, or at least the look of hand animated, similar art styles, clearly a Silksong. I don't want to be mean and call it a Silksong clone, but
Guerrilla Games is out there releasing their 2D Metroidvania on the exact same weekend as Silksong.
But yeah, a bunch of them have now moved.
Fearless.
I know we were in the video we recorded last week when I was telling Matt he couldn't talk about Metroid Prime in our Gamescom opening night live discussion because it wasn't shown in opening night live. I can give you the opportunity now though. Was there anything shown that came out of Gamescom?
People be playing it.
I say, but is there anything that has come out from it that you wanted to highlight in particular?
I've just seen discussion from people who've been hands-on with it, and they say, it looks incredible on the Switch 2, which I would expect it to, and that, they're ready to have their minds blown at the full release, which I'm ready for as well. Please, Nintendo, do it.
What about the mouse controls?
Pokemon Legends Z to A and put Metroid Prime in its spot.
Yes. That I could support, for sure.
No, they'll never do that, because Pokemon Z to A being an October release just lines it up to be the best-selling game of the year by the end of the fucking... It's going to be all of October. It's going to get the holiday bump.
I don't know if I actually have that written in our little calendar of notable releases, showing my bias that, again, I don't count that as a notable release. To me, the most profitable entertainment property of all time. It's we can ignore that.
I think it's October 10th.
Doesn't count.
And we can't ignore it because Mike is taking a sabbatical from the podcast. So we're freed from having to talk about it. So
yeah, because do you know what we're going to be talking about during that exact release window? Digimon Time Strangers.
It is.
They're going up against each other. The Digimon are going to win. I promise you. It's going to be big.
Andrew and I are going to be playing Ghosts of Yote with the poop controller while you're playing Digimon, saying it's peak, guys. It's game of the year.
Don't worry. I just want to say that 99 Metacritic score is going to hit different. Trust. Just Andrew, like Lost Soul aside.
Were you going to comment on the poop controller?
The Ghost of Yote poop controller and console. The
console looks better. The console
It does look a little better.
Look like it's been smeared with shit. The controller looks like it was just smeared with baby diarrhea.
Yeah, it's really bad. But that game looks dope. I saw some new footage that came out.
The firearms footage?
Yeah.
It's almost like I know exactly which one you're talking about because it just released yesterday.
I thought it looked pretty fucking cool. Are
you gonna be riding up to the Yote 6 with the blicky, with the Arca blicky?
I definitely will be. The only thing I don't love is how the reload slows time. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I can't decide. I went back and forth as I was watching it.
You can make two assumptions out of that. You can make the idea that while reloading, because you're a ghost, you're hyper perceptive of everything, so you're trying to take things in while you're in a vulnerable state, which is reloading.
Yeah.
Being aware.
That's fair. Totally aware.
Were there perks or something you could get in Tsushima to slow time when you were drawing a bow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you could make it stronger with different
Yeah. There were
with different
equipment.
charms and stuff.
The other cool thing is if you kill enemies, like they'll drop their sword and you can then throw that. I don't know if
Because I know one of the weapons is like the chain is
Kusarigama.
so that you can disarm and then use stuff like that.
Also cool.
It does. I think it's a cool way to change up, iterate on they've gotten rid of the stances and instead are doing multiple weapon types that like certain enemies, rather than being dealt with by the water stance or whatever, are best dealt with a spear instead. So
it's almost like the transition from Neo 1 to Neo 2, where Neo 1 was more heavily stance focused and Neo 2 had an extremely broad weapon package for you to use, including a Kusarigama.
So I will be playing on the poop controller though, just to say that, just for posterity.
I'm gonna be edging and holding myself off because they've already announced Legends for 2026, which means there will be other DLC. I will just hold and wait and store all of my mana.
I mean, I don't care about the Legends specifically.
No, but what I'm saying is them announcing Legends already means there will be DLC of some sort.
Yeah, an Iki Island level of DLC. Yeah, that won't keep me from going, because there's nothing at that time. It'll hit at the right time for me to want to play
Digital monsters.
Oh my god.
I've been like toying with playing the first one, but like honestly, the combat just looks, it's not necessarily even just the combat, because combat, like, I can probably get around. It's just the traveling the cyberspace for that long that it's just literally, it's like I'm staring at a blue screen the entire time. I'm gonna get blue light poisoning from playing that game. That I'll never sleep again if I play that game. Like
Yes, because it's so peak, we'll just continue playing it.
I'll just be thriving. I don't know. I want to try it. I want to try it, but I don't know. I'm a little torn.
I'm at the point right now where I'm still not done with DK, because you beat the game and then there's more adventuring you can do with Pauline.
Did you start the rehearsals?
Yes.
Like, I had to put it down just the day I was doing it and haven't picked it back up. I was like halfway through the first rehearsal, and like I looked up, it was like technically it unlocks a secret ending, and I looked up what that was, and I couldn't tell that there was anything different going on. There's like a cutscene that you get when you do all the rehearsals, and it's like, okay. And the real reason I didn't pick it back up was because my nephew was here for a while, my younger nephew, who I wanted to, like, if I was still in base game, I would have like played with him, because it's cool colors. I give him his little Fisher Price controller and let him play around with that. But the rehearsals, you're just in like the void of like the shrine spaces in them, so it's like nothing stimulating for a kid to look at. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to play that while he's here.
I was juggling the idea of
more challenge
of starting Kirby.
Kirby is good. I would be interested to see your opinion on Kirby in the Forgotten Land after having played it after DK, because in my opinion, it's a really good game, surprising even to me, who is not like a platformer. Whatever. It has made me a Kirby fan. You can see my little Kirby plushie. Where's my finger on the camera? There he is. I have a Kirby plushie, and you can't see it, but I have a little Kirby thing as well. And I really loved that game. And I don't know that I could go back to it afterwards, because Bonanza was just so much better as like a kind of kiddie platformer type of thing.
To point
it's
out
just so
the
much
impressive
better.
nature of DK Bonanza being third for the monthly sales chart, and the only like true exclusive anywhere near that top 5, where the top 2 games were both EA Sports games. I think it was football, college football, and whatever the other one.
Didn't Madden just come out? Didn't new Madden? Just...
It wasn't Madden. It was a different EA Sports game.
It was probably
I just know that the top 2 selling games for July were.
Do you know what the number was, though, for like actual
sales
data?
total?
Like what the actual number was? Yeah, not just
I don't
ranking.
think they reported that it was just the third best-selling game in units.
Which, that's so frustrating, because in order to report that fact, they have to know what the what the units are. So tell me the number. That's really frustrating.
But it also
Probably have
moved
to
it
pay.
up to
It's
the.
probably behind a paywall.
It also moved it up to the 20th best-selling game of the year in just 1 month.
Yeah, because as I was
people are
saying,
going bonanza.
people were starved for good games to play on the Switch too.
Or it could just be
So
that
that-
it's just a good game in general.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a great game. It is by far the best thing to play on the Switch, hands down, no argument at all. Particularly if things are to be believed of how Elden Ring is currently running on the Switch too, like apparent dog shit. That came out of Gamescom. So DK Bonanza. Okay, that's just on Nintendo platforms.
Yeah, it was in the thread I sent.
Yeah, no, just the one that the Matt Piscatella, the Circana thing that I'm looking at right now is the one that this article happens to cite was just the exclusive what's selling on Nintendo, this wasn't the whole thing, which, yeah, I had seen that stuff before. Okay, this one might have it. Ooh, so bright. College football. Oh, this is Canada. This, again, not helpful.
Canada.
Not helpful.
EA Sports MVP bundle.
Yeah, that was number 4 on this list.
Those were
I don't even know what
the
that
top
is.
2. EA Sports College Football and EA Sports MVP bundle.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I think it's college sport. I think the bundle is the college and Madden together. I'm pretty sure.
I thought you just said that Madden wasn't out.
It's not out yet, but you buy the bundle and then
You'll get it
when
You'll
it
get
comes
it. Okay.
out. Yeah.
All right. Well, so besides finishing, just kind of keeping it a little casual still, just besides finishing DK, so we've been playing some of the new stuff that's just dropped in the last week.
Night Rain.
Elden Ring Night Rain, a new game, yes. I just started playing the Gears of War release on the Gears of War Reloaded on PS5.
So which game in the series is it?
One. It is a remaster. It is of the remaster of Gears of War 1.
Gears of War, okay.
It's a remaster of the Ultimate Edition, which came out last generation, which itself was a remaster of the original. So
there's definitely a little bit of milking going on there where they could have probably just done all 3 in one go. But if you re-release one, you get people to play it, then you do the next one, you get another.
Yeah, I mean, you forget that you're talking about Xbox and Microsoft, because again, it is wild still to put this disc in my PlayStation and to have the first big thing with like a splash logo and an audio cue sound effect. It was just Xbox Game Studios.
Weird.
Just wild to see. Very weird. But so far, I mean, I only finished the first act, and it's fun. It's fun enough, I think, and like you can feel like that it's kind of dated, but like it's dated of an era of like smooth. I mean, I love the linear nature of it. It's just it doesn't ask much of me that way. There are cool things. It's using the DualSense controller really well. It's got some haptic triggers. It's using the speaker well.
That's hilarious.
Again, it's largely linear hallways dotted with just cover and stuff, and you're just kind of dodging from one cover to the next, and the shooting is fine and serviceable. But it's like it is a not a dated games feel clunky. I also just played Metal Gear Solid 2 for the first time, and which you can transition into what Andrew's playing, but that was to me an even jankier experience than playing the first Metal Gear Solid, and got me frustrated at certain points because I mean those games are themselves naturally stickier, and this is just like you can see why this game was informative and kind of a touchstone for the generation. It doesn't necessarily feel that way playing now, but it's smooth enough that like I'm not frustrated even when I die. Like it's like, say, checkpoints are really generous.
Yeah.
And wow, that sounds pretty woke to me. Woke games give you checkpoints.
It's just like it literally is a turn my brain off type of thing. It's funny to see big gruff men just kind of
Felix.
Yeah, trying to say just like Marcus Felix. Is it Phoenix? No, I think it's Phoenix.
Yeah, it's Phoenix. Yeah. It's Phoenix.
Spelled with an F. Marcus Phoenix. Just like say like just, random stuff like, I'm not doing this for you, Sergeant, or like, yeah, whatever. Just being like weird, irreverent for the sake of it, which, it's whatever. It's more enjoyable than something like Call of Duty, in my opinion. It feels good to play on this hardware. It looks good, performs well on the Pro. But it really is a turn my brain off thing.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that my brain was melting because of the camera shake and motion blur. This is now the second game I have ever played to give me motion sickness. I Googled it quickly and found I could go in the setting and turn the camera shake off. And that immediately
Ben could never survive the dredges of Cloverfield.
Shaky cam. Although I don't know, I think it's like film is different. It doesn't bother me. With film, I could never survive VR games.
You have to wear those motion sickness glasses that people wear in the back of cars.
I gotta take
human blinders.
I do have like the old people wrapper, the type of sunglasses you get when you get your eyes dilated.
No, the ones
my light sensitivity is so bad is that I need sunglasses for my sunglasses.
The ones I'm talking about have like a hollow frame with fluid in them. It's like it does something to like
Right. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
So
no,
you were saying
the only other game I ever had that happened with was BioShock Infinite, and it was just because the FOV was far too close. And yeah, but so I changed that, and that was fine.
You were saying it's weird to see the Xbox Game Studios logo when you're booting up your PlayStation for it. But I mean, if the VG Charts article is to be believed, it's going to be pretty much the only way you're going to see Xbox going forward. I don't know if anyone read that sales number chart that I sent.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been kind of reported for at least a past couple months that like in the top like 5 best-selling PlayStation games on PlayStation have been Xbox Studios.
Well, this is more just raw hardware sales. It was the July totals, and Xbox Series X and S global, so combined X and S global sales were 132,000 for July. Behind the Nintendo Switch 1 at 251,000, PlayStation 5 at 787,000, and the Switch 2 at 1.6 million.
Yike.
The funny part in this article was they report Japan independently, and Japan by itself sold 900.
I was going to say, what, they have, 5 people in Japan buy an Xbox?
Not 900 people stationed in Okinawa.
Yeah.
I was going to say, people at the Air Force Base.
Holy shit.
132,000 is a pretty low number.
I mentioned it briefly, but Andrew, I saw that you had booted up Metal Gear Solid Delta.
I did. I'm enjoying it. I played it for 2.5 hours, and I just threw the prologue. I've seen.
Oh, I thought you were about
the
to say
title
just
card
through
now.
my controller.
No, there's just so many cutscenes. Classic
Beautiful.
Kojima. It's beautiful. It looks great. I'm loving every second of it so far. It's fun. Granted, like of the 2.5 hours I've played, 30 minutes of that have been gameplay. I think roughly.
You've played for 2.5 hours. You've actually been moving the sticks on the controller for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we'll see. More to come, but so far I'm enjoying my experience, and it's performing well for me. I have it on the quality settings. It looks good.
You're playing on quality. Interesting.
On a base PS5.
I am.
Well, that's the problem, right? Is that it's performing better on base PS5 than Pro. Like, what the fuck is going on there?
They released
ridiculous.
A patch today.
Did they?
Yeah, I saw a post about a patch note thing. I don't know if it did anything. I didn't read it. I was too busy, trying to prevent my lead foreman electrician from, as the kids would say, offing himself.
They would say from unaliving himself.
I know,
right?
but that would physically make me unalive myself to say that.
I'm looking at like patch notes right now.
I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm getting the Kojima experience I want. Which
Did you see recently Konami put out a thing where they're like, we want to continue the Metal Gear franchise even without?
I heard. We'll continue how? Because I think that honestly they're gonna try to remake most of these games.
Oh boy!
I think they're doing them chronologically.
Metal Gear Solid 5 remake.
If they're doing it chronologically, then yeah, Phantom Pain comes next.
Oh, you're right. So I guess not. I guess they're not doing it chronologically.
I think the real question is which is the most appropriate game for them to do next? Would it be Metal Gear Solid 1? but that is like, there's a lot of difficulty there in that
Metal Gear for the NES.
Is that so much of that would have to be done from the ground up because they can't use any performance capture. There's no animation. There's there's no facial animation data that they can use, like that, say Delta, Snake Eater, they're using the skeleton of the old engine and basically just slapping the UE5 shit over the top. It becomes more difficult with all the other ones. One is the best choice in terms of onboarding. It would be so strange to go to 2, but there's the argument that what's the one that they should do is Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, the one currently unplayable.
Because it's impossible to play unless you own a PS3. But that's obvious. I was listening to an interview or a guest appearance on the latest episode of the MinMax show, and they had, I forget the guy's name, but he was an ex-dev at Konami, came on at the tail end of Snake Eater and worked there until Kojima left. And he was saying how 4 obviously makes the most sense in terms of what has the most need for it. Yeah. But would be one of the hardest to do because of how thorny the PS3 architecture is and how difficult technically that would be to remake. And it's like that it's doable. All of them are doable. But it's about how much are they willing to invest in that.
Because the issue you run into right now is, so you start with 3, so you go back to 1 and 2. Say by the time you're doing 2, the sales are starting to peter off, and you're looking at is it worth us to continue to invest the time and money into remaking these? Because they're continuing to sell less with each one.
Well, and it's the reality that each of these now other games, as you would go, would get harder to remake, more expensive to remake, and are probably going to sell less as the novelty kind of wears off.
That's what's going to happen is you'll get to 2, they'll be like, oh, well, the return isn't really what we need anymore, so I guess we just won't do 4, and then people are just like, I guess fuck me then, right?
Yeah. Apparently it doesn't even run very well on the emulator, because apparently the PS3 emulator is like really hard to get working.
Welcome to Jaguar architecture, baby.
Yeah. What made the PS3 so much more difficult?
CPU. Something about the number of compute cores on the CPU wasn't traditionally, you work in a base 4. So like 16, 4, 8, 12, 16, 32.
It wasn't that.
Yeah. Which also made it really hard to pirate, which is one of the reasons.
I'm looking at the patch notes right now for Delta, and they're mainly it's a hot fix. They're for crashes.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't read it. I just saw that there was a patch that released.
Yeah, it's not they're not performance based. They're crashes, and there's one here where there's a bug where if you go from a roll into a crawl, you could start floating, and maybe a soft lock here or there, but that's about it. I'm not touching it until, and I wouldn't want to, having just played 3. I need a sizable break between playing these games. Yeah. I find them kind of exhausting in a unique way. I don't mean to say in a bad way. They just take a certain amount of energy out of me, both with trying to just keep up with what the fuck is going on, as well as, again, for these older games, just fighting my instincts as a modern gamer, that I find, fighting against the game rather than the game's enemies or, the actual content itself. So I feel and then I'm not going to touch it if it runs like shit on my $700 professional console.
Only $700, huh?
Yeah, let's just say there. I set you up. I set you up good. Let's actually get into the news. Why we're here.
We've gone a little long on our.
Yeah, we're fine. I was a little worried how we would do for time, anyways, without Mike here. So I think we're good.
Yeah. So if we're going to transition straight to me on this. Me and Ben bought our PlayStation 5 Pros at the low price of $700 plus disk drive plus stand.
Plus shipping, plus tax, plus...
Yeah, but that shipping and tax, that's always there. I'm not buying this on Amazon Prime for free shipping.
Some people did.
Good for them. I'm sure it showed up not broken. And definitely not stolen by your driver, who's being witnessed by BOZO AI cameras in 12 different spots in his truck.
Didn't you watch the documentary War of the Worlds? They're going to say this Amazon air delivery drivers are going to save the world.
Are you talking about the
new
War of the Worlds?
They don't shit in buckets in their car, okay?
Yeah, they make that very clear. That they can go to the bathroom whenever they want.
I've only seen the real War of the Worlds, which is Tom Cruise power running.
Say me, the traditionalist who's only ever heard the Orson Welles radio play.
Me, the traditionalist who's heard the radio and then killed my wife so that she wouldn't be abducted by aliens.
Yeah, do you think Ice Cube instilled like a public panic like Orson did?
Yes,
in the original?
The public panic was mostly because it was like, oh my god, this movie's so bad. We got some news this past month from the other two console manufacturers, because Microsoft ripped the Band-Aid off earlier this year. They were like, yo, by the way, shit's getting more expensive. It's definitely not because of tariffs. 100% just, we want it to cost more.
It's just global business conditions.
But Nintendo and PlayStation both, came out this month and were like, hey guys, it's me, your friend, Steve from Blue's Clues. It's been a while since the last time we raised prices on things, so we wanted to just talk for a second and say that the Switch 2 isn't going up in price yet. We're just raising the cost on some Switch 2 accessories and amiibos again, so amiibos are going to become a hot commodity on the eBay market. You wait. I've been investing, baby. I'm going to be
guys. It's 2009 again.
But they did hilariously raise the price of Switch Ones and the entire family of consoles.
They're still selling as we said. The data you just shared, they're still selling.
That was technically July data, so the price increase kicked in on August 3rd. So we'll see how. I mean, I can probably guarantee you that the August data is going to look almost exactly the same in that order of Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Switch 1, Xbox. Maybe at some point, whenever Steam releases their console, it'll be Switch 2, PlayStation 5, Switch 1, Steam console, Xbox. Because Switch 1's never going away. It's going to sell 160 million units. It's going to pass PlayStation 2.
Well, that's an interesting thing that I want to kind of jump in right there. This wasn't part of any story that people share, but it was another thing that was coming out of Gamescom, and I was hearing some tinfoil conspiracy theories about it. That that Nintendo is pushing essentially third-party devs to keeping the Switch 1 alive by basically artificially restricting access to Switch 2 dev kits. That devs are saying, like, we want to, have our games on Switch 2, but we just can't get a dev kit. And Nintendo's official response was, just put your game on Switch 1 and rely on backwards compatibility. People are like, the only, like, that just seems wild to why you would try to restrict the library for your new flashy, more expensive console. Reason. But people are like, well, it's because the install base for Switch 1 is massive.
So it's Switch 1 install base is massive, but you also have to think, if people, keep talking about how things are more expensive, they can't buy as much. Does Nintendo want you buying a PS4 port of the BioShock collection for Switch 2? Or do they want you buying Bonanza, Kirby, Pokemon? They want you buying the first-party games first.
But
the thing I'd seen theorized was that they're holding off on trying to get everyone so they can stop. There's not a deluge of PS4-era ports that all come out at the same time and kind of dilute the buying pool until at least a year or so in.
Maybe.
You think there's going to be that many?
Well,
I think if a bunch of third-party studios want to, that's the things that are going to be ripe for porting.
Well, we've talked about this in general, right? Is that, of course, developers want to have access to the Nintendo install base. Of course, they want that, and we've discussed, how there is a significant portion of that Nintendo install base are people who that's their only machine, right? So that these are people who haven't had a chance to play those games before, and they may not necessarily be the market for them, but they would be potentially willing to pick up one here or there to be like, oh yeah, okay, I normally play Animal Crossing, but maybe I would like to try this other RPG that I never had the opportunity to play before.
Mainly play Animal Crossing, but I'm really going to get into Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah. So I can see the logic behind that kind of reasoning, particularly with how we know Nintendo handles their first-party lineup, that they will keep games on their shelves before putting them out into the public to make sure that things have room to breathe, that they don't want to saturate their own marketplace. So
the last thing
that's,
you want
I
is
guess,
to
a way.
release-
That's, I guess, a way you can control that from third parties. But to me, my one point is like, that seems so weird and disconnected from everything that they had been saying around its launch, right? Where this was launched basically as a third party, support machine for.
But I think what
yeah,
you're
we've got
looking
the
at
few
is-
first party things, but like, look at all these. Look, you can now play Cyberpunk. Look, you can play Yakuza.
I think it makes sense though if you follow it. They picked a couple big third-party games: Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, even if it doesn't run very well, Split Fiction. They picked those and they're like, see, we have third-party support and we can play those games, but we don't necessarily want all of the games of that time period and architecture.
Yeah, I
all
get
at
it.
once.
I think you might be onto something there. I think that makes a certain level of sense with how what I was just saying, with how we know Nintendo handles their own releases. It's
like,
just that
obviously you're still getting Silk Song on Switch 2. You're still getting.
it becomes a failure in their kind of marketing, because that's the only thing that anybody was talking about, is that there are not enough actual Switch 2 games to play. There are just these, because for the most part, the people who were adopting at launch were like, hardcore gamers who do own other systems, who weren't picking up Cyberpunk because they're like, I own it already. I own a Steam Deck, so I can play it portably already. I can appreciate it and think it's cool, but I'm not going to pick it up. So people were focusing more on this, like, wow, it's odd that they are so focused on third party. I'm just purely talking about that's what the discourse was. And I get that Nintendo doesn't care about discourse. Nintendo going to do what Nintendo going to do, and everyone else can go fuck
to the
themselves.
beat of their own drum of,
They're
World,
marching to the beat of their
Kirby.
own Donkey Kong bongo controller. You mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, the steady release drop right now, if say Prime 4 does release in September, you go Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Kirby, which is a port / DLC, Prime 4, Pokemon Legends.
Is Legends in October?
Yeah, that's
right?
October.
You said it's
10th.
October? Okay.
Like, that's essentially a first-party game every month up until the holiday. And we're supposed to be getting a direct, which might be adding a little bit more clarity on... Dusk was releasing December 20th.
It's just, oh my god.
I thought that was 2026.
I was joking. Yes.
It's going to release December 32nd. Yeah, folks. This was a digression. I do apologize, though. But it was something that I felt was worth bringing up.
Nintendo has raised the prices of the Switch 1 console family, which, while not raising the price of the Switch 2, is a minor incentive to buy the Switch 2. If all of a sudden the Switch OLED is $400, like, why wouldn't...
Where does that put them in terms of parity?
Everything
what
went
were
up
the
$50.
50?
So the Switch OLED went to $400.
Okay.
And the base Switch is now $350. So, I mean, you're only looking at a $50 increase to go Switch 2.
Yeah.
Not to be left alone, Sony also was like, hey, Nintendo, we see what you've done here. Thank you. We're also going to raise prices. It's like the American Psycho scene where they're passing around business cards.
Yeah. Oh my god. The elegance of that of that $400 price tag. Oh my god. Yeah, I
love that movie.
It is funny how, Nintendo will set these trends and then the other two will follow suit. Like, Xbox tried to do it with the $80 games, and now I get that they're different, that they're really, they are responding, to, it's like they're phrasing here similar to many global businesses. We continue to navigate a challenging economic environment. And that's kind of true. There's truth to that.
Yeah.
And I wonder why. Name those challenging economic conditions, please.
Yeah.
That's called corporate suicide, because then you'll have
the challenging economic conditions are profit margins decreased by 0.5%.
And we can't get our factories to Vietnam fast enough. So when does that go into effect? It already has.
August 21st. It's in effect. So everyone who didn't buy a PlayStation 5 Pro at launch and was like, I'm going to hope that the price goes down.
Doing a nana boo-boo.
I mean, if you thought the price was going to go down...
There was a small contingency of people online. It was the same way with Switch 2, where they're like, it's going to sell so poorly, it's going to drop in price immediately. I'm going to hold it.
People are insane these days.
Yeah,
like,
that's
people
deranged thinking.
that's such a level of idealism that it even makes me cringe. Like, who tries to be as idealistic and hopeful as possible, but like, people will complain all the fucking time, and they're still gonna fucking buy this. They're gonna buy it no matter the fucking price. It's the only thing we can do. It's the only thing we can do is we must consume. I must have treats.
Yeah.
Whomst amongst us hasn't been an early adopter, and turns out early adopting also gets you it at its cheapest price.
I mean, that's relatively new though. So they would be forgiven in that yes, that was the normal trajectory. But we have so long ago entered the cool zone that, that's gone. That reality has gone and has not been on the cards for the entirety of this generation.
Yeah, no, by this point of the PlayStation 4 generation, consoles had decreased in price considerably. At the 5-year mark was when I bought my PlayStation 4, and that was when it was...
But the Pro wasn't.
Pro went down in price for holiday sales and stuff like that. What I'm talking about is I bought a PlayStation 4 on Black Friday sale for $160 with God of War, Horizon, and Last of Us.
Yeah.
Bundled in with it. And that's because the base price of the PS4 had dropped to $250, I think, at that point.
Yeah, that reality is gone. You were going to say something, Andrew?
No,
Andrew's just mad he didn't buy a PS4 Pro when it was cheap, or a PS5 Pro when it was cheaper.
No, I'm not, because GameStop has me, and like if I buy a Pro, I'm turning in my PS5, and GameStop doesn't care. Like their margin doesn't change if
That's
they
because GameStop is at this point mostly just
goes
a
up
front.
on both ends.
It's just a front.
They'll pay you a little more. Yeah.
They're not actually getting anything.
They're just exchanging
anymore.
PS5s from crackheads who have stolen them from other GameStops.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I was about to say. Is that they're stealing these PS5s off of the truck from Walmart,
just swapping them back and forth. No, I'm not too upset. I really don't have like a strong desire for a Pro at this point in time yet. If mine like starts working poorly, then I'll just do it.
You hear that, Sony? That sounds like time to push out an update.
looks like your fan is broken, buddy.
Yeah, suddenly, yeah, exactly. Suddenly
Remember,
the fan's
guys,
broken.
I'm the evil one. I'm the one who comes up with all the bad ideas that companies should do to make more money. Like this is another digression, but we rented a boom lift at work, and the guy who dropped it off, other than the fact that his trailer was not locked to his truck as he started driving the thing off, and it disconnected from the truck, hilarious, and started rolling while the boom lift was driving.
Oh my God.
When he finally dropped it off, he was giving me a tip, and he was like, so make sure when you put the basket down, you leave a good 6 to 8 inch gap underneath it, so that when you get in, you've got a little bit of buffer room so it can wiggle, because they put a $10,000 sensor right at the bottom of the basket pivot joint. And he's like, I don't know why they put it there, because it's the easiest place to smash into the ground. It's like, I know exactly why they put it there, because it's the easiest place to smash into the ground. And then you have to pay me $10,000 plus maintenance to come out and replace it. It's like, it's the most genius place to put this $10,000 sensor.
Yeah, again,
It's a subscription.
Yeah, Matt is has a future as the black hat engineer. Just how can we make this purposefully worse to cost them more money?
I would have to learn.
It terrifies me sometimes.
I'd have to learn from the Toyota engineers first, because they're like, yes, put the spark plugs under everything. Make them inaccessible to anyone who has a normal garage.
You have to take the engine out of the chassis. Fuck.
Yeah. No, the console market's looking real great right now. Steam might be throwing their hat into the arena with a home console. There's some test data that showed off a potential unit that could be released. Be cool. It would be nice to have a more home TV dedicated way to access my Steam library. Currently, my desktop is just a sitting paperweight because it crashes so frequently. I'd be terrified to try to play any game on it.
Yeah, I recently fix it. I recently redid my whole setup so that I could have my PC dedicated under my TV with. And so, like, I've, like, realized, like, as I'm doing all these things, like, I bought a new coffee table, I had to buy shit ton of different cables, I had to buy some other, you know, lots of little minor things here, and, like, spent probably close to $1,000 just on everything else. I was about to say,
the type of minor things that when you look at your basket, when you're like, how is this $500? You're like,
yeah,
well, I
so
guess
it's like all these little things just so that I could get it to actually work well in, you know, on my TV. And so, like, that I use my laptop now as my, like, productivity machine, because it's more than powerful enough to do all those tasks. It's working well. I just played a small indie game on it, and
it's working great, guys. I played a pixel art indie game that definitely pushes my computer to its graphical limit.
But no, I'm not worried about that. It's more like there are certain games where it's just difficult to get it to work on a TV. You know, it just doesn't scale.
Particularly older games.
It just doesn't scale well.
Skyrim.
That, didn't you say you played that on PC or whatever and had to go
into the actual game files and change a 1 to a 0 to get it to full screen on my TV?
It's insane. It's insane.
Because it would open up as a, like, window about this big.
That's what BioShock Infinite did for me. And so I didn't play it on the TV. I played it on my monitor instead. But I'm pretty happy with that setup now. I want to play some more stuff with it, but just timing hasn't worked out well.
You know what's going to be great, though? We as Americans in the future will be able to get computer parts cheaper because of a deal that our president made with the wonderful chip maker and got us 10% stakes, right, Andrew?
How often will the Intel chips fail for the ones, you know, what will be the fail percentage for the ones made in the United States? You know, what was the deal with the current gen ones that were, like, killing themselves, that they were they were catching on fire? Yeah. Or something. How many house fires are going to be caused by CPUs made in the good old US of A?
Hell yeah. That's what America's about. Yeah, I'm excited to announce that we have our first socialist president. We have nationalized a portion of Intel.
He's bringing factories back, folks. Not to mention that those factories are all run by machines.
Have you done the math on what each individual citizen of the United States gets out of this 10%?
I have not.
It's like $36.
It's $1 million, right? There's
perfect.
It's $100 billion.
But really, I just find this to be funny, and that's why I want to talk about it. I think it's hilarious that he's forcing companies to just, like, give America stock, because this money was going to Intel as grants, and then already decided it was going to happen that way. And then Trump came in and was like, no. The country now owns part of your company. And that's after essentially calling the CEO of Intel a Chinese spy 2 weeks earlier.
I was going to use the proper term, which was ninny boy. And
then bringing him to the White House and having a sit down and walking away and being like, he's amazing. U.S. owns a stake in Intel now.
I mean, that's the
stake. This guy, he really knows computer.
Yeah, he knows computer. Everything.
You sit down with him, you stroke his ego a little bit, you walk away. You're the best person in the world.
Yeah,
it's so easy. Really. A caveman could do it.
Whoever talked to him last, that's what he knows. Regardless, yes. As an American citizen, we are all now stockholders in Intel. I think it's getting railroaded.
Which means
I don't know if
you want
it.
My laptop with an AMD GPU.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out. We don't need that shit anymore. We're an Intel household. We bleed blue, literally.
Yeah, hell yeah. But very funny development because, you know, it's just if Joe Biden had done something like this, he would the months
nationalizing Silicon Valley.
Yeah, it would be
the U.S. government is trying to steal your companies. If you elect me, we will never take your companies away from you. It'll be beautiful. It'll be great.
But how much of this is basically going to funding AI research?
All of it, essentially all of it. But that's the thing. At least we're getting something in return. You know, it's something. It was just going to be free money.
Return. People at like King won't get shit for their AI research.
No, people at King won't get shit for their AI research.
Told you I'd find a way to get it there.
Look at that! Look at that! I didn't even see that part of the title. They're being mandated to use AI.
That's because they're all getting fired and being replaced by AI. That's right, folks. Another great outcome of the Activision Microsoft merger.
Is it one of those things that, again, Microsoft is doing is like, you got to write the code for the AI that's going to replace you.
You need to use Copilot, guys. Please use Copilot.
I don't. Yeah, please use Copilot. Please use Copilot.
I had one of the contractors, like their actual boss, was in today having a discussion. He was like, "I love Copilot. I love pitting it against GPT-4 to see which one's better." It was like you're doing battle bots on your computer.
Yeah. And wasting so much fresh water that like he's killed a family of seals in doing so.
He was telling me, he's like, it's great. I just love to put customer like confidential information into them and have it spit out proposals for me. It saves me a week of time.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, but King, which was the real moneymaker of that merger,
We've said that the whole time.
Yep.
You can check the tapes. We've been right.
Fired 200 staffers because they built AI that's replacing them. And both funny and sad. R.I.P. I do feel bad for these people, but
that's literally being asked to dig your own grave. That's, you're like putting a gun to your head and be like, work on this AI model. Like, why is it based off my work ethic? I don't know.
I do want to say the thing that I really thought was interesting is that this is being driven by Microsoft. The article specifically says King's leadership is skeptical of AI. So
Microsoft wants them to use Copilot.
Right, 100%. And that's the reason I wanted to actually talk about this is because journalist Gene Park threw out a very interesting idea this past month in that shortly after Activision was purchased, Microsoft, after thinking they were going to invest in gaming, saw where AI was going and pivoted their entire strategy and all of their investment dollars over to AI. And I gotta say, I don't think that's the only reason Xbox is doing and operating the way it is. But I think it's at least a factor in that capital is going elsewhere and they are firing people because the margins aren't good enough and they think they're going to be better with AI and they'd rather spend that money there. I do think that's part of it. I think that's a pretty interesting observation at the very least.
Yeah, because what was the thing that Gene Park was saying is like that Phil's pitch was, Microsoft's, because they frames it in terms
Microsoft
of
being a differentiator.
It's like Google has search. What was the other one? What was the other thing? It's like what
Facebook has ads or something. It was just like the differentiators of the big.
I think it was Amazon has sales or something like that.
Yes, no, Amazon has
shipping
web servers is what it was, and Microsoft will have
gaming. That was his pitch to like they're staking their claim in what differentiates them in the tech space, which again is wild to me for Microsoft. They're still
the biggest company
for Microsoft to do.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
Every single business machine runs on fucking Windows. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. What you are tech. Like, shout out RIP, condolences to those people laid off at King, but I think this is an early indicator of AI.
You know who I will not give condolences to being laid off, fired, resigning, leaving amicably in disgrace. It's up for a debate. Is Pete Parsons, resident retro car enthusiast, and also sometimes game development CEO. It depends where his day-to-day where his priorities lie, right? Yeah. So Pete Parsons is out at Bungie, with everything that's going on, and so there's interesting things to look at the timing of all this,
it's
and
a PlayStation
also
takeover.
Is what is actually happening. Several people have pointed out most cleverly that in the blog post that they put out, which is was Pete Parsons saying his goodbye and I'm putting in air quotes, his replacement, who I had his name right here
on PlayStation.
John PlayStation.
I had it right there. Truman. It's something Truman. Justin Truman. Yeah,
Justin Trudeau.
That he was the former Destiny GM. He is now being referred to as the studio head, but not the CEO.
I mean, we talked about this a little while ago, that we were inevitably following down the course of PlayStation absorbing and removing their independence.
I mean, the Sony Group CEO in like the earnings call a couple months ago,
They
was
failed
like,
all their markers.
it's like they have not succeeded in the initial agreement, and we're working to make them become a part of Sony Studios.
They will become Borg.
Yeah, he basically did say resistance is futile.
Yeah, he did.
In that investor call. So like that's no surprise. But so people were saying like, oh, did he get fired? Is it because of did he get forced out because of the shit show that's going on at Bungie with the latest expansion, because it's not even the regular level expansion of Destiny not being received well. The absolute dumpster fire that Marathon is turning out to be. But no, they pointed out that at the buyout that the executive team, was part of the deal, handed large sums in stock, and they would take 3 years to vest, and his departure now comes 3 years and 1 month from the sale. So he's basically I think it's
like me for real. He waits for that vestment.
Yeah, he got the bag.
I think it's literally, I mean, I think we're going to probably see a small wave of that executive team just kind of, getting out while they can. Now that they're
rats fleeing a sinking ship.
Yeah, now that the bag has been secured, they're like, we're gonna be. It's inevitable that we're gonna be absorbed and we're gonna lose our autonomy. So let's just get out before our names are tarnished by what's gonna happen with Marathon. So I think it's just them being like, yeah, the timing's right now. Like shit's we've pushed it would have looked really, really bad if they left now before Marathon got delayed, because that was originally scheduled for September, right?
Yeah, it was.
It was originally scheduled for a September release, so that got pushed out. That freed them up. They're like, it's perfect. It's beautiful timing.
Bye-bye.
No one will ever suspect a thing.
Releases, the credits at the end is just Pete Parsons.
All his cars get a special shout out. Yeah, I mean, I say rip BOZO to him. Like the guy, again, it's not like he's being punished in any way. He's leaving with all the money he needs, and again, his reputation as intact as it could be. So
son of a bitch.
Good luck to Justin Truman, who will now be sacrificed on the Marathon altar, and is just being kind of, I think, set up to fail.
Yeah, dude.
This
better
is the perfect
get your
time for the
resume
Marathon
ready.
resurgence story. They're gonna bring it back. Justin Truman's gonna save it.
Imagine, yeah, it's like it's No Man's Sky. They completely scrubbed all the stolen art and redid the whole thing, and now have all the features that everybody wanted. It's the live service hit that Sony needed and made $1 billion.
Pete
That's
Parsons
not going to
is
happen.
just drinking his martini in his one of his many classic cars.
That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Not. But there are infinite realities out there, and in one of them, Justin Truman saves it.
Do you even want it?
I mean, I never want to see a game fail.
Well, but my question is, does Sony want it to succeed? That's my tinfoil hat thing, is they want the reason to absorb it.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it depends, because if it succeeded enough that it made like $1 billion in its first year, they'd probably be like, oh well. I mean, I think there's sadness into my piles of money.
Yeah, I mean, as out of touch as they are with the whole live service initiative, they're smart enough to know that the odds of that happening are way less than what they can kind of recoup by.
You've seen the headlines recently after the Helldivers launch on Xbox, and for like 500,000.
Back up, yeah,
consecutive players. And
I hadn't been really paying attention. Besides the Halo ODST Warbond, were there any other major? Was there content update to it, or is it just the Warbond? That's,
I mean, I haven't paid attention, but this does bring up the question: is it time? Does democracy call every now and then?
I mean, we never even jumped back in when the Illuminate.
I know, we would open the game and we would get so many credits.
Imagine, you don't get credits, you get the medals, right? Which I guess you could then spend on credits to buy. Say, could we potentially buy the new Warbond for free with that? What really has me not interested is seeing like the Instagram reel accounts that are like they're ostensibly tutorial or guide channel things. Like, here's how to get overpowered fast in this game. Here's the best super credit farming spot. You want to look for low-level missions with high-level players. And once you found whatever you do, don't complete the mission. Once you have collected all the credits from around the map, make sure that you communicate with your team and you all quit out at the same time. That way you could keep doing it. And I'm just like, that sounds fucking awful.
I mean, that's,
oh my god,
those types of things exist for pretty much all. I mean, I quite enjoy when it's like new broken night rain seed, and it'll just be like
I wish
Libra
testicular
invasion
torsion on those
rotted
people.
woods.
I cast testicular torsion on those people.
oh.
Tungsten
Corpse-
ballsack.
This corpse guarantees a Marais Executioner sword. Can you find it?
I hate that shit. And like, I hate a game that like devolves into that. That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
Yeah, that's how Overwatch ended up.
If it's
That's how Marvel Rivals is
450,000
going.
people doing that, I don't want to play.
No, I mean,
Maybe.
I've been lucky enough in my night raining where I have yet to encounter a single random who's like, "Yo, we're going Noclateo day one, boys, follow me. We're getting a Marais on day one. It's going to be glorious."
All right. Anything else that we wanted to touch on? I had here
Yeah, we're gonna play Marvel Rivals.
We're gonna play Marvel Rivals. No,
I
definitely
guess we'll have to
not.
play the game that it's tied with in concurrent player count, Overwatch 2.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think
I'm
so.
just saying, my account can't possibly still be banned.
Depends what you did.
I know what I
Yeah,
did.
was it phrased as a permaban or
I mean, it was definitely a indefinite ban.
okay? maybe it's just maybe they've updated their servers and things have reset. Maybe with Overwatch 2, you know, things.
Yeah. It's a new game. It's a new
All
game.
banned from Overwatch 1 get a redo. Are you?
You know,
a
they're
good
trying
boy?
to capture lightning in a bottle. You got to bring the toxicity along with it.
Different
That's part
game,
of,
different
You
that's
gotta
part of
bring
the
all the toxic players who were also the good players back.
yeah. That's part of the equation, right?
Saying
Different
we
game.
start Overwatch 2 comp farming. I'll get us into GM. Been there before. We can do it again.
Nope,
No
not gonna
thanks.
happen. Not gonna happen. I could maybe see myself trying Marvel Rivals just because I appreciate the Gooner, the Gooner side of it.
Overwatch invented the Gooner side of it.
I know, but they're characters that I know. You know, they're characters that I recognize.
How dare you not
characters
recognize
I've given you
Tracer or
before.
Diva?
Yeah, I have a.
Well, you're not
going to
recognize them going forward because they gave them the rights to
make
new characters.
Make new characters. That makes no sense to me. You've created a licensed product. The whole point is to use characters that we know. Sure, pull obscure ones because maybe the license is cheaper, but like that'll make some random fan happy.
Oh my god, it's Magic from Cloak and Dagger, my favorite.
The magic is in the and Cloak
know.
and Dagger are already in the game and are not that obscure. They're kind of
No,
obscure.
I was picking
guess.
the most obscure characters I could come up with outside of like Squirrel Girl, but she's not obscure because people like Dagoon.
Yeah.
I prefer
At that
Dagoon
point, it's
to
like-
Recluse.
It's like you're just making Overwatch at that point, you know? The whole
Oh,
point and
no.
the whole appeal is that it's Marvel characters. That makes
tend to
no
agree.
sense to me.
It's not like Overwatch was a Game of the Year winner and preceded a very long
All right.
lineage of
Cut
good
his
years
mic.
before.
Cut his mic.
Get him out of here. Night Rain is truly poisoning this man's brain. He is regressing. It's the first bump to relapsing, you know? He's had a drink, and now he's about to go call his dealer. Jesus
I haven't gotten to the
Christ.
point, so at
Call
its
your
worst-
sponsor, man.
At its worst, when Overwatch League was starting to really blow up, I was like, man, maybe I need to go to a New York Excelsior game.
I get secondhand embarrassment from that.
Hey man, they had the best Zenyatta player in the world, and I was also a high-level Zenyatta player.
Maybe I could learn from him.
No, I couldn't, because he was South Korean, and he would think I'm...
I'm surprised you didn't try to learn Korean.
Oh, I did. The Korean I learned was monkey, 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 monkey. That's what they would yell when Winston would show up.
Oh my.
Okay, so not racist because he is he's an ape. I guess it's
Yeah.
racist against him because he's an ape and not an actual monkey. Winton.
No, when you play with foreign players, you start to pick up on things like the universal language.
It's called Ademic, the language that we lost at the Tower of Babel.
And then you play with XQC and none of it works because the man does not speak words; he speaks feelings, and those feelings are mental handicap rage. I use the proper term.
I think that's it for tonight.
No, we're gonna keep going. Rolling into another hour.
Do I agree with Matt and enable him further and go play a round of Night Rain as he asked when we started recording?
Andrew's going to too. He doesn't need to eat dinner. He'll just eat dinner while we're playing. You do it all the time.
You do it all the time anyways. What's the difference? All right. That's it for tonight, folks. We will see you next week for Resident Evil 4, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Matt, are you going to put the game down to play Resident Evil 4?
There's the plan to play this whole weekend. I
right.
got out of having to work Saturday, so I've got a long weekend to do it.
He goes he's going to be halfway putting the disc in, and then the Night Rain case is just going to Green Goblin mask him. Why shouldn't I play Night Rain?
Do some more Everdark
Just
Libra.
one run.
Everdark Libra with randoms.
So you can
Insta-lock
feel
Guardian.
Just so you can feel something.
Insta-lock Guardian. Dual wield shields.
Invincible. Flawless strategy. All right, folks, we will see you next week. That's something to look forward to. Till then, support us on all the other social medias. Check out the YouTube page. We've got clips coming up we had clips of our reaction to Gamescom and our kind of top picks from what was shown newly there. Those are out on the YouTube, and we'll have some more stuff planned for the future. All right, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.